Thank you, Ian. Good afternoon. Yes, and welcome to Lunchtime Live, the day after England went into its second lockdown. The Chief Minister said Gibraltar should prepare and brace itself for a considerable impact as a result of international travel being banned except for work reasons. Meanwhile, here on the Rock, mask wearing in town has become compulsory, with some complaining it's affecting trade. Well, joining me in the studio today is Minister for Business, Tourism and Transport, Vijay Daryanani, and the GSD's Elliot Phillips will be also touching on the thorny subject of Limewall Road a little bit later on in the programme. But Minister, for now, can I just get the latest airline news from you? We know that Easyjet has cancelled all its flights from Sunday onwards until the end of the UK lockdown. What's the latest news on BA?
Well, the latest news with British Airways is that they will be flying their last flight to Gibraltar either on Monday or on Tuesday. They need to confirm this to me today, hopefully, or during the weekend, but it'll either be Monday or Tuesday. And
I know that the government had, I know we've asked the Chief Minister this, the government had paid for the airline to maintain its link to the UK. Is there any plans to continue that at all?
Look, we are negotiating with them to finalise arrangements. I don't really want to prejudice the government's negotiating position with relevant airlines by commenting at this stage.
OK, but potentially we could be in a situation as from next Monday, next week, where there will not be any air links at all with the UK until the end of the UK's lockdown.
Look, we did it during the last lockdown, and we understand that there might be a need to do something. But like I said, we're negotiating at the moment, and we'll make an announcement very soon.
OK, thanks very much. Before I get to Elliot Phillips, I just also want to ask you about your news that you broke in your party political broadcast last night, that you're in discussions with another airline to have links to Gibraltar. And give us some clues. Is that a London link? What can you tell us?
I can't really give you any clues. I'm sorry. You'll understand that these are commercial arrangements, contracts involved, and many things like that. And I mean, I said that I was negotiating with them. We're there. I hope, fingers crossed. I've shown you already.
Not even England or the rest of England.
No, I don't want to give anything away. I've proved to our people that we can bring another airline. It's not often Gibraltar has another airline. I announced only last week that Wizz Air are the fastest growing airline in Europe. Gibraltar has managed to attract them here. I think that is enough evidence that we can continue doing that.
Elliot Phillips, listening to what Vijay Daryanani has just said about flights, and how worrying is that we could potentially not have any flights? I know that they're in discussions to continue an airlink, but how worrying is that for us?
Well, of course, it is deeply concerning, the news we hear this afternoon from the Minister, that we may well be left with no...
I have not said that at all, Elliot.
Well, I've said that we're negotiating. You've had your say. Let me have my say. Thank you very much. So it's deeply concerning.
You can't put words in my mouth.
Okay.
It is
what you need to... I've just said that the government is negotiating, and there'll be an announcement being made next week.
Okay, so we may not be in that position. It just hasn't been confirmed. Continue.
Well, it is concerning still, whatever Vijay wants to say on this
programme
right
concerning
now.
Yeah.
Now, let me speak. You've had your say. My turn. Okay. This is how it works. Now, it's deeply concerning for our community that there may not be, at some point, links with the United Kingdom in relation to flights. Gibraltar's USP for business, for students, for travellers, is our United Kingdom links by aircraft. The fact that Vijay has secured Wizz Airlines is a matter of which I will congratulate him if that comes to fruition. Likewise, in relation to further airlines that he brings to the Rock, I will congratulate him also. But at the moment, there is real and deep concern amongst members of our community, particularly the business community, particularly our students, that will be left without air links. It is pleasing, though, to hear that the government is in negotiations, and clearly he doesn't want to prejudice those negotiations, but we must have some surety as to what is going on further on down the line. And it is for the government to make those announcements in short order, of course. Look, we are dealing with one of the most unique situations with COVID. There are commercial interests at stake, but Gibraltar must maintain that air link with the United Kingdom for business and for students.
Minister, do you want to reply to that?
Yes, look, first of all, the government is aware that everyone is concerned about this. And look, at the end of the day, it's the government that will do what we have to do to make sure that we have these links with the UK. It's not the opposition. The opposition, it's easy to talk. It's free to talk. It's easy to jump on bandwagons. That's what they always do. I mean, they've done it all year and they will continue doing it for the next 3 years. But it is your government that will always be there to make sure that everything is secure when it comes to everything. We've proved it already over the last lockdown, and we're going to make sure that everything is in place in the next week.
Okay, shall we move on to how the government is supporting local businesses? Because obviously that is going to have an impact. It's not Gibraltar's fault whatsoever, but it will have an impact on local businesses, in particular hotels. I spoke to the director of the Elliott Hotel earlier on, the Caleta Hotel, earlier on this week, Franco Ostuni, and he was very worried about the hotel industry because they did have a little surge, with Gibraltar becoming an attractive destination with the air corridor remaining open. Is there any support? He said that, for the hotel industry to survive, Minister, that they will need some additional support. Is there any support there for our hotels?
Look, of course, we understand that the hotels have issues. It's fortunate that things have worked out over the last few months. This lockdown has come in. We're fortunate that Gibraltar is nimble enough that, when the lockdown is over, we will be able to get out of this quicker than some other big countries. But of course, the government is always there to support the hotels. We're going to have a meeting very soon over the next week or so to be able to see what their requirements are, and we will put into place whatever is required to help the hotels.
Do you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, look, the Minister says Gibraltar is nimble enough and that he'll be having meetings in the next couple of weeks. But is that good enough for people like Franco Ostuni of the Caleta Hotel, who has raised very serious concerns about sustainability of the hospitality industry and the hotel industry? So what we need to be doing, look, we supported in large measure the Beat 1 measures by the government. We moved to Beat 2, where we had some reservations as to whether it's creating a level playing field with business or was targeted specifically at the needs of specific sectors within our community. But we did not support the Beat 3 measures insofar as what it was aiming to achieve. We were not allowed to have that level of consultation that we previously had with Beat 1 and Beat 2.
Do you think they're not enough, the Beat 3.0 measures?
I certainly feel, in relation to the Beat measures generally now as adopted, and look, we haven't been consulted on Beat 3, but that we really need to start targeting specific industries, and hence the reason why people like the Caleta Hotel are screaming out and saying that they're very worried about the industry, because perhaps the government has missed the ball here insofar as not targeting our resources at specific industries. And, the Catering Association is one example of where things went radically wrong with the government, and they really did not take care of that industry.
Well, we are going to focus on the catering industry a little bit later on, but I would like the Minister to respond to what Mr Phillips has said, that you're not targeting specific sectors and industries in Gibraltar.
Look, I think the government, it's not that the government has missed out on anything. The government has not missed out on anything. The thing here is that what we can't have is his party say one moment that we have to be careful spending our money, and the next moment saying that we should go out giving handouts to hotels.
Well, if you want to spend £750 million in your first two, we might have a bit more on the kitty.
If you're going to go on spending, giving money to hotels, and look, we have a track record of supporting business. They have a track record of nothing. We have a track record of supporting business.
Okay.
We have paid the wages of all businesses in Gibraltar to keep them afloat for 3 months.
Can I ask
we have given them grants after that. We have given them reductions on rent. We have given them reductions on rates. We have waived PAY and social insurance for a month. We
support.
Can I ask you a question? Beat 3 goes on until the end of November. Now with this latest lockdown, is there any chance that perhaps might be extended to December?
Look, that we take this decision on a quarterly basis. We're still at the beginning of November, and yes, if we need to help, if we need to support the businesses further, we will do so. Like I say, we have a track record of doing so.
Yeah. May I ask when the next meeting is going to be held to discuss these matters?
No, I can't. I don't have a. No,
okay.
Like I say, it's still the first week of November.
Sure.
Well, it is the first week of November, and hence the reason why we should have resilience in the system, so that the Minister can make announcements very, very soon as to what the next step is. The United Kingdom, of course, has extended the furlough into March 2021 as of last week. So what on earth are the government waiting for? Let's see what the measures are in place to support our community, our businesses, small business and medium-sized businesses moving into next year. That is what the community wants to hear.
We spoke to a Main Street trader earlier on this week who expressed grave concerns, as many are concerned about the downturn in international travel. He also raised something that was a local measure, which was mask wearing, and said that he claimed, and as have others, some others, claim that mask wearing appears to be putting people off from going into town and doing their shopping. Minister, can I ask you, what's your feedback on that issue? Is it really a concern?
It's not something that has been raised, has been brought to my attention. But people have to realise, unfortunately, that we do live in unprecedented times. This is a health emergency. We're doing this for the safety and the security of our community. So, I mean, nobody likes wearing a mask. I don't like wearing a mask, but we don't really have a choice. We're driven by public health advice, and that's the advice we have, and that's what we're asking our people to follow.
Any idea when those regulations will be reviewed?
This is an ever-changing situation. We sometimes we're told one thing one day and we're told another thing another day. This is something totally new. We haven't been through this. There is no formula of success for this.
Elliot Phillips, can I get your view on this?
Insofar as face masking, I understand it's a controversial subject across the board, particularly in Main Street, where I've heard those issues being raised directly to the party and beyond, in fact. But the thing that we've asked for is the government should be very consistent and proportionate in respect of mask wearing within our community. Look, I'll give you a prime example. Someone phoned me today to say the park opposite the Bristol Hotel had a sign on it saying COVID masks must be worn in this area. But when you look at the legislation which the government has put in place, the whole area is exempt insofar as the parks. So there needs to be a consistent, proportionate, and indeed an accurate approach in relation to mask wearing in our community. I understand it's a difficult thing for people to put on a mask and breathe their own air as they walk through Main Street. But to a certain large extent, we must obey what the rules are insofar as distance mask wearing. But look, we've said before that the incidence of infection was going down during this particular contentious period between 13th of October and the 20th of October, where we see decreasing cases, and then we see legislation bringing mask wearing. So what we need to do is have a government that is consistent and proportionate to what this disease is presenting to our community insofar as risks are concerned.
Well, one of the sectors you've already mentioned that has been very much affected by this pandemic is the catering sector, and arguably perhaps hit more than some of the other sectors, particularly again with this downturn in tourism. Who knows whether we're going to be able to have Christmas gatherings and dinners out and all this sort of thing. I've been in touch with the Catering Association, and they would like to know, Minister, when will you be sitting down with the Chief Minister to discuss measures perhaps that might support the catering industry?
Look, I think I've always met with the catering. I've always met with the Catering Association. On many occasions. I was with them only 2 weeks ago, and a month before that, I've met with them with the Chief Minister. I've met with them with Minister Isola. We've met with them on many occasions. There's so many other things going on. The Chief Minister's diary is full. He's dealing with Brexit. These are things that go beyond the next 2 or 3 months. We've promised that we're going to meet them, and we're going to meet them extremely soon, hopefully next week.
Well, what's happening with, there was talk about possibly looking at some of the measures that the UK government did to help their catering industry, such as the Eat Out to Help Out vouchers. What's happening with that?
Yes, I mean, we discussed that with them. It's a proposal that they brought to us. And at the time that we were thinking of doing something, the figures went through the roof. So I told them that, we should wait a bit and perhaps we could look at it again in January, because January is a slow period anyway. So that's the situation we're in, and then consequently there was a report in the press in the UK that this Eat Out to Help Out actually made the problem worse for in the UK. That's
it's a bit of a catch-22.
when cases started rising. So look, I've said that we need to see how we are insofar as the health emergency is concerned before we can't tell people, stay home and wear a mask and then say, here's freebies to go out and eat in restaurants. We need to balance the situation. Everything here is a balance. The money we spend is a balance. It's very easy to say yes, but sometimes we have to say no. This is not short term. We don't know where we will be in the next 2 or 3 months. I think that is a very important point. We don't know where we will be, and we need to be ready. If we need to support businesses, we will support them. I keep on saying this, and I know that people will will understand what I'm saying. We have a track record of defending business. We have proved it over the last 6 or 7 months.
Let me bring in Elliot Phillips. The catering industry is a sector apart. They have really, really felt it, this COVID.
Well, except if
pandemic.
you work in Chatham Counterguard, of course. That seems to be special out for special privileges in our community. Restauranteering and catering is a hard business.
Stop jumping on the bandwagon, Elliot.
Let me finish it again.
I'll let you respond in a second, but very quickly because we do need to move on.
It's a very hard business. They have been calling out for support for some time. Many of those restaurateurs in our community that fall outside the Chatham Guard special zone, as it were, I'm so describing, quite jovially, but it is, feel downtrodden in respect of these measures. And what they're asking the government to do is to look at imaginative ways of securing more revenue. Of course, it must be balanced.
Imaginative ways is a very broad term. I mean, do you actually have anything specific?
Absolutely. Look, we called on the government on the 8th of October to bring about loyalty coupons. My friend Roy Clinton, the Shadow Minister for Public Finances, talked about loyalty coupon schemes for eating out. That is a good, imaginative, positive thing for the catering industry. And I do not understand why the government rejects it. Now, because clearly what he's saying is that we should be driven by public health. Of course we should be. But also it's a very, very careful balance. And that's the one thing I agree with Vijay on. It's a careful balance. But our community must survive this COVID emergency.
Minister, the last word on you on the catering sector. I mean, how are you assessing its impact on the industry? Does that form part of your discussions in terms of what support they need?
Look, at the end of the day, the support that they always ask for is they want some financial support. It's not as simple as that, because there are other businesses that are also having problems. The retail trade, they say that that their business is down by 50%. I know of businesses on Main Street that are not selling anything for days. They're not selling anything for the whole week. So we need to balance this out. There are other business sectors everyone is having difficulties. So it is not only the catering. And let me just say one final
very
point on
quickly,
this.
because we do need to move on.
I mean, I come from there. I'm a small business owner. I know what it's about. I know the difficulties they're going through. But, I mean, we can't just be giving out money for free.
OK. Now, the public would not forgive me if we didn't bring up Limewall Road, because we have the Minister for Transport here and Elliot Phillips from the GSD, who has been very critical of the scheme. And we're in day 5 of the new traffic system, where all traffic is going northbound on Limewall Road and coming southbound on Queensway. Minister, can I ask you for your assessment, because the feedback that I have seen is that it's caused quite gridlock on Queensway. What feedback are you having, and what is the net gain of this? So,
look, this was a pilot project. The first arrangements, which included closure of Limewall Road on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then the second sort of set of arrangements that were put in place this week. Look, the arrangements have resolved all northbound issues, but we're left with issues on southbound. Look, we're listening to people. We're looking very carefully at all the data that has been gathered. And would you consider reopening Europort just to sort of allow traffic to feed out of the area? We're looking at everything, and let me just say that an announcement is imminent. We've said that we would. An announcement is imminent on this.
About this Limewall Road.
About the whole arrangement. Yes.
Okay, and we're imminent. What, next week? Next week.
Imminent.
Okay, Elliot Phillips. I'll let you have
as clearly as helpful. As always, an imminent announcement about another U-turn in our community on Limewall Road. Quite frankly, not good enough in our view. We now need to reinstate Limewall. That is the message from the opposition. That is the clear and loud message from this community. Over 5,000 people signing petitions for you, Minister, to reinstate Limewall Road. And I ask you to do it now. You say you're looking. You say you're listening. Go down to Limewall Road, go down to Queensway, that I do every morning, and listen and learn from the people of this community who have asked you to reopen Limewall Road, and do your homework in the first place. Go back to the drawing board, and perhaps we can have a discussion about Green Gibraltar.
Last word to the Minister, please.
Look, Elliot, thank you once again for jumping on another bandwagon. I mean, that is... you don't seem to get the message. Your style of politics
is better than yours.
Your style of
Minister,
politics.
can we really
Yes.
have a minute?
Your style of politics was rejected by the electorate only
I don't want
a
to
year
get into
ago.
styles of politics. I'm sorry, Minister. Can you please just answer the question? Is there
Yes,
any
I'm
chance
answering
of
his question.
a U-turn on Line Wall Road?
No, I've told you that an announcement is imminent.
Right.
Okay, and the announcement will be made when the government is ready. But he must realise that his party was nearly wiped out a year ago with this style of politics. He hasn't learnt the lesson.
That's not going to
Gentlemen,
happen
I'm
again.
going to have to leave it there
It's easy
because
to
we're
talk.
veering away from the subject. It's been really interesting having you both in here, and I'm sure there'll be lots more debate on Line Wall Road, and very much look forward to the new announcements. You've been listening to Radio Gibraltar's Lunchtime Live.